Hey everyone, it's Derek. We're back again with the Board Game Spotlight, and today we're looking at Zombie Legacy. This is a game for 2 to 5 players, and it plays in about 60 to 90 minutes. So let's talk about what Zombie Legacy is, and then we'll take it to the table. So Zombie Legacy is a story-based survival horror game. Now the aim is to work with your fellow players in order to survive this post-apocalyptic onslaught from zombies. So legacy games allow you to explore a permanent world in which you make decisions that will permanently alter the game and future decisions that your group will make. In Zombie Legacy, you're going to encounter a variety of unique legacy elements, such as branching story narratives, which will unfold directly based on the decisions that your group makes. So we're going to dive into Mission 1, and we're going to show you an overview preview of Zombie Legacy and what you can expect from the game. So let's take this to the table, and I'll tell you about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the table. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what Zombie Legacy is all about. So to begin the game, each player is going to start with a character. And so you'll see here that each character will have a starting apocalypse, their family history, their job, and then their morals. So you're then going to create your character. And so here we have Hannah, and we've selected our starting stickers. And then we have these luck abilities, which are variable player powers that are going to allow players to manipulate the combat dice and use those throughout their legacy campaign as long as this character is alive. You're then going to set up, this is the encounter deck. We have the stack of tiles here that will be seeded with the objective tiles, and then you'll see we've spawned zombies all over the board. So here we have the Zombie Fury track, and this is going to come into play as you fight and kill zombies throughout the game. It starts at 1, but as you kill more zombies, it progresses along this track, and the zombies are going to gain more dice and become more powerful the longer the game continues. And there are a number of these different sides that are going to make the game harder as you play, and you can customize that experience for you. There's also an insane mode, which is half of this, and it is just, well, it's insane. So to begin the game, like any other legacy game, you're going to have a deck of legacy cards. And so this deck is going to tell you what you need to do in order to set up for the mission and how to win. And it's going to tell you to stop. Do not draw this card until you're ready to set up and play your first episode of Zombie Legacy. Are we ready? Yes, we are. So we're going to draw and read this narrative to everybody at the table. It's then going to tell us in episode 1 we're looking for food, water, shelter. You flip this card over and it tells you how to set up the game. And voila, it's already done. Then you're going to have additional rules for tile setups, encounter cards, and the Zombie Fury track. It tells us to play with the base in episode 1. And then on this side, it's going to tell you the starting location of the compound, the stickers where they're to be placed, and then where to spawn zombies on the board. And in this case, everywhere spawn zombies, even that one right there that I missed. So we have zombies all over the board. Then you're going to draw your objectives. So the first objective is to, before the encounter deck ends, you need to return to the compound with at least one survivor to not get injured. That's really important. Ultimately, the objective we're trying to complete is to find 2 water and a food token in the map, in these tiles, and to return those to the compound in order to survive. So we'll place that up here. And so in this stack of tiles, these components are hidden, and we need to search. We need to explore, and we need to survive. Additionally, there are a number of different motivation cards. I'm not going to open these because these are spoilers. However, these motivation cards are going to correspond to your starting backstory. So depending on which sticker you chose, it's going to give you a motivation, and this is really going to tell the story of your character. What is their motivation in this game? What are they trying to accomplish? Are they just trying to survive? Are they trying to be helpful? Are they in this for themselves? And then we have additional setups. So each player starts with 2 luck cubes, and each player starts with 2 survivors. So we would then take our survivors from the token supply and our starting luck cubes. So we can use these luck cubes in order to perform our variable player powers here. And then these survivor bonuses is going to give us an additional modifier when we go into combat. And I'll talk about that when we cover combat. There's also different rules that'll come into play throughout the game. This has something to do with ranged weapons, and so you'll just want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on all of the setup cards and what they do. So then you're going to come across a card that says to stop. Draw this card only when you have won episode 1. Did you lose episode 1? If so, follow these steps, and then you can progress after doing all of that. So let's take a look at a player's turn. On a player's turn, you can move, you can do combat, and then you can collect resources. To move, you have a base movement of 2 unless you have these wheel tokens, and those will augment your speed. So if we were to explore into this area, we take the top tile, and we have a survivor. So we would place survivor on this tile, and we are now here. Now we have a decision to make. We can either press our luck and continue to explore, or we can stop and collect that survivor in order to have a stronger bonus. That is a very, very important decision because having survivors for combat to fight these zombies is very important. So we're going to stop our turn. We'll take that survivor, which bumps us from 3 to 5. Now this is going to continue to go around the table. Each player takes their turn, and then the zombies get to take their turn. So the way the zombies work is they're going to move one step closer to the nearest survivor. So in this case, if we were all down here in the compound, everybody would move one space, and you're going to move these a quarter turn just to make sure that you know who has moved. So you can keep an eye on which zombies have moved so you're not moving the same ones over and over again. And then you're going to go into combat if that applies, and then zombies will spawn out of all of these spawn points. So the board is going to continually progress with a lot more zombies that you're going to have to fight. So let's go ahead and progress the map until we get to combat, and we'll show you what that looks like. So here we've drawn the water tile. This is one of the tiles we need in order to complete our objective. So we would place this token there, and we can only carry one of these at a time, and we need to return it to the compound. So we had explored this tile, we could pick this up, and then we can move on subsequent turns in order to drop it off to complete our mission. As you can see, the zombies are coming in hordes, and they're angry. Okay, so let's take a look at combat. Let's see how combat plays out here. So, in order to resolve combat, a player would attack any of these zombies, or if it's a zombie's turn, they would move into that tile and they would attack. And we're going to reference the zombie fury track. They're currently at 1, which gives them 1 of their dice. We have 1 weapon, which means we get 1 of our dice. However, we have 3 survivors for a 5 survivor bonus. So whatever we roll is going to get a +5 attached to it. But the zombies are going to roll and then add +3 to their modifier. So we would take our dice and we would add them together, and that is a 9, and 2 and 5 is 7. So 7 is not more than 9, which means we have to lose a survivor, and we have lost that combat. Now there are these luck powers that we can use. So we could discard 2 to add a used card to the deck, or we could discard 2 to add +1 to our roll after we roll. Unfortunately, a 7 becomes an 8. Still does not beat a 9. So that is how that would work, and then these cards are discarded. Now, if you beat an enemy, you get to take the effect of the bottom card. So in this instance, we would get to roll an additional die later in the game. If you win, keep this. Rage adds an extra dice to any combat roll. There are also ways to gain medical kits. You can also gain tokens. You can also gain really strong weapons to be used throughout the game. You can find survivors. And you can also gain cubes for winning combat, which are used as your luck resources. So as players are moving along the board and they're picking up their objectives and they're returning them to the compound, when we have found all 3 of our objectives, again, remember we need 2 water and a food, that will signal the end of the game and we have completed our objective. When that happens, you will then get to progress with the storyline. It's going to give you the rules for win bonuses, extra bonuses based on how you did. There's going to be narrative that you're going to read to everyone at the table to progress the storyline, and you're going to continue to the next episode. This has been your overview of Zombie Legacy. If this looks like a game that is for you, if you're interested in the player customization and the branching narrative throughout a host of different missions, trying to accomplish your mission, working together cooperatively at the table, make sure you take a look at the description below for a link to the Kickstarter page. This has been Derek with the Board Game Spotlight, and this has been your preview of Zombie Legacy.